and give her credits. This is a war. Still love. All right, we're just getting ready here. We just now got the announcements out. Give it just a few seconds. We'll begin. Long enough. Okay, good evening, everyone again. First, we're going to go over the announcements. I do have two Facebook pages. One is the Oklahoma Bigfoot Predator Watch page, which is Oklahoma Bigfoot Predator Watch in parentheses, antlers, and surrounding areas. Also, Choctaw Missing and Murdered Woman, WOMBMAN, and Son Center and Database. Those are two group pages I have on Facebook. Also, the other announcement is the Bigfoot documentary for $101. The PayPal is on the credits here, or the announcements and the comments. Hope we got some regulars back. Joe Blow, a couple good people who's been paying attention for a while. And tonight we're gonna check in on some trackers. We're gonna check in on some friends. We're gonna see what's going on in their areas, and then we're gonna do just a little bit of teaching tonight. And then we have another firsthand encounter and experience in an active area again. So we're going to help them with techniques, things to look for, and to kind of give them evaluation on the severity of the progression that they're having right now. So I'm going to call a couple of people real fast just to get an update. And if you are listening right now, I'm just about to give you that phone call. So the first one is we're going to check on the group from last night first, because they have children and we really want to know how everybody is. So we're going to listen to this one first.
Hello.
Hello, April. How you doing?
Hi, Jerry. I'm doing good. How are y'all doing?
Good. We're just kind of getting this thing rolling tonight. We're checking in on everybody, and what we're kind of starting to do is, or what we want to do is to check on, the people we interview and our trackers in the areas, so we can get updates of activity, and
Okay.
and we just kind of want to pick up where we left off kind of yesterday, as far as I don't even know if that storm came in yesterday or if it moved away, or just kind of catch us up from where we left off of you making it to your brothers, and did you share any information with them, or
Yes, I shared everything with them. But yeah, the storm came through, and we have another one coming through now.
Okay.
So
I would do the same thing.
Yeah, I'm still there here at his house.
Oh, great. That's great news. All right. Well, I feel good now.
Yeah. We decided we'd stay here, so.
Good. That is so good that you're aware of the area, and we also need to get those neighbors aware.
Yeah, I plan on doing that. I went back home to check today and rode kind of made the circle around the neighborhood, and was just looking for stuff myself and noticed some signs of them elsewhere. So I have plans to go and talk with all of my neighbors. So
Wow, that's great news. It is, it is. Um, and I just hope that everybody takes your lead and get this done because it is a serious matter and it does have to do with our children. So
yeah,
um so about last night, you said there was a storm.
yeah, there was a storm.
Okay, did you listen for the direction of the thunder and lightning, or were there?
Yeah, yeah, it was south of my house.
Okay, do you know kind of like an approximate? Because the reason I'm asking is that wherever thunder and lightning are, something went on in that area.
Yeah, I about know approximate where at. I was gonna go and check it tomorrow. Check it after it passes through here tonight too.
Yeah. I mean, like if it was in another town or another, a couple miles from you, or just wherever that thunder and lightning happened. I would say listen into the news and see where it may say thunderstorms and trees down and things like that. That gives you a location of where they're at.
Okay.
So always watch the news after storms or before storms. They'll tell you we have a lot of lightning, in this area and things like that. Those are the areas we need to be warning our friends and family about.
Okay.
And let's see. So how did your family kind of take it? I mean, or are they already aware?
No, there wasn't, but my brother told me he was glad that I brought it up to him because he had a few like he didn't realize it was rocks being thrown at a barn at his house. So that I kind of had a talk with him and told him,
Yep.
What all I knew so far, and so it kind of surprised me. I guess because he's kind of the type that don't want to talk about stuff like that. So it really shocked me that he, told me that, he seen shadows out the corner of his eyes and stuff before and stuff like that.
Yep. That's so good that you can communicate.
Yeah.
That like you were saying, a lot of people have that resilient kind of hold back just a little bit, but most people are looking for someone else to say, "Hey, yes, I'm glad you brought it up."
Yeah.
And so that is another active location then.
Yeah, and he's in a different county too, so.
Yeah, so that's another, and those are things we need to do also. Get a map or a city map or a town map and start marking where these people are having.
Yeah, I'm planning to do that.
Good.
I was thinking that.
You're ahead of a lot of people right now. You are. Also, that the track trap, were we able to level that out anywhere, anytime?
Can you repeat that, Jerry?
The track trap, where you rake or rake an area.
Oh, yeah, I did that. I raked around in my front yard, side yard. I worked basically around the whole house.
Good. That's wow. It's great that you're doing all these techniques that will help you identify and see things and even if like with those track traps, whenever you get a real good one, that's when you need to be calling neighbors and saying, come and look at this, or take pictures and show them and say, you know everything is true. And with the sizes that you're talking about, because I have seen those 20-footers and things like what you're talking about, but
yeah,
those footprints you're only going to be able to take if you can get on the roof or in a tree, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, I have to figure out how I'm going to be able to do that because I have I tried taking a picture of one at my mama's house because it was such a good print.
Yeah.
Perfect print. and I just could not get the whole thing in the picture. It's like I had to take it in two pictures because I'm so short. So
exactly. People don't understand that. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Because we're talking like and you'll see in the DVD where we talk one person that we're at his area, and it's a famous area. It's called Green Hill Monster Road. Um, that's going to be in the film also, but he'll tell you monster prints. He's not talking, kid.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
very so.
And we show everything that we found there, but um, and there is a part in the film, and I'll have to get the timestamp for you, but if because you look different, I look different, and normal people don't know what to really look for when we're talking about outlines and things like that.
Yeah.
But in this one part of the film, it shows a small one laying up on top of the roof, and we're showing it with the night vision, but there's a huge one that's probably about 27 foot standing behind the house. So you can see it standing behind the house. But it was not clear enough for us to try to get people to see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But it's there. I mean, you should be able to see it, but and and that's what the first part of the night vision night observations that we did in film. And but you can see it. We can see it. We know it's there. And in the film, it doesn't show that. But whenever we started getting surrounded, that's when we pulled out our 12-inch knives and started sharpening them out there in the open. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And they all kind of got real quiet around that time. So we knew that they was watching us, and we knew how close they were to us. I mean, they was like right up, breathing close that to us.
Wow.
But you'll see all this. But we have an experienced team, and no, everybody knew, to keep their cool, uh, and to just keep calm and just keep doing what we're doing. Let's just get this observation done, and it's a good team. You'll see. But we also, you know, in the military, we would call them civilians. This is just people who are not accustomed or trained in certain ways. Just really what that means.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be a civilian because you already know you're more trained than everybody else. So the people around you, we would consider civilians who don't know, the people.
Yeah.
And you'll see that we had some young men walking through our observation areas because they don't know, and we're going, you need to get over here because you just walked past, like 5 of them.
Oh yeah.
And then they come over, and it was pitch dark. That's why it was with all the night vision. You'll see, we couldn't see, besides the house lights and things like that, we couldn't see, 10 foot in front of us. We had to all use night vision and thermals, but you'll see that there's young men who now they know, now they believe, now they know for sure. But at that time, they were walking through the woods, pitch dark. They knew the trails and the way home, but they didn't know that they were being like watched. But we got them on thermals as before he walks through. They're all over that place watching.
Yeah.
And but so those are the people we call civilians. But you'll see that they're in there, and how their reactions once they really see what we're looking at and everything. And
okay.
it changes them as far now they're real observant. Yeah. It's okay. There are things out there, so
they sure are.
they are. And I actually wanted to also ask you, what else did like your grandmother teach? What kind of was it like? Be in before dark. Don't go out in the woods. Is there a name for these things?
Oh yeah, it was. You better be. I had to be home back then. By 5:30, the street lights come on, and I had to be in the house when that street light come on every evening.
I think there used to be some kind of thing with all the grandparents because I remember something like that. Be home before those street lights come on.
Yes, my grandma was really. You were in the house when that street light come on, and
Yeah.
then we talked last night, the quiet game thing.
Yes.
Everybody sit down. We're gonna play the quiet game for 3 or 4 minutes, and
We were taught that same thing.
that, and then as we got a little older, it was the same thing, the street lights. But if something happened, like where you couldn't get in, before the street light come on, just try and hurry as fast as you can, because if not, the boogers could get you. And I thought they were just playing with us, when she'd say that the boogers would get you.
Yeah. Yeah. And we all did. We all did.
Yeah, that's I think that's about it that I can really remember. It's mostly my grandmother and my great grandmother that really, pushed the street light thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's they even just talking about that's even bringing memories up from what they were telling us also.
And I remember my grandmothers both, always cleansed their house also too. So
You're
sage and stuff.
you're right. You're right. It's the same things we were doing, and we were children. We didn't really understand what they were doing.
Yeah.
I had and you'll kind of see in the film, but my house was like the the only house left standing after a tornado here in the Antlers area. So
Wow.
so we had, since it was like the only house because all the houses around us disappeared and bodies were, at that time everywhere because of the tornado.
Yeah.
Our family took out, and not, well, of course I wasn't here yet, but this is the family stories that they took out the all the furniture so people could bring bodies in there for people to come and find and collect. And so I was always raised with spirits, energies, shadow people, and things like that. But I also remember we were also doing those sages, being quiet, listening. Even I remember one time we seen like a huge orb, and I want to say it was like a little like a beach ball size orb.
Yeah, I've seen one about that big.
Yeah, and like my mother, she pushed all the children down underneath the windowsill and said, "Don't look at it. Don't look at it." And then she pulled out the Bible and she started reading verses and everything and finally left.
Yeah.
But so even just thinking back, that house, when we're thinking about energies and spirits, there are some that it seems to be protecting that house, but I do remember there were some mean kind of spirits there at one time.
Oh yeah, I have a memory. I was probably 3 years old and staying at my grandmother's house, and I remember this black shadow figure thing came walking out of the closet and walked up to me and put its hands around my throat and just started squeezing. And I finally was able to scream out my grandmother's name. I called her Nanny, and she come running up in the room and ended up taking me to the emergency room because she said something was off with my breathing and everything. But she's the only one that believed me. Other people in the family just because I was sick or something. And they rubbed like Vicks all over my chest and stuff. But
yeah,
I have memories like that.
Yeah, I was just talking with a very good friend today, and she, they explained that same exact thing as well, not as far as seeing what did it, but they were lucky as far as, well, not lucky. They were meant to survive it, as you were. That but they had to go to the hospital as like a SIDS, but they survived it. You know,
Oh, wow. I'm glad they did. Wow.
yeah. So this same thing, and this happens to a lot of children.
Okay.
So I remember also parents, periodically coming in and opening that door just to check, you know,
Yeah.
just to check to make sure all the kids are okay, everybody's breathing okay,
Yeah.
and also if you see kids having a bad nightmare or something, wake them up, get them out of there and get them back to here and let them know and talk about what they seen, even in their
Oh,
dreams.
yeah.
It's a lot of information of what's coming in and what's trying to stir them up and things like that. So those kids, they want the kids more than they want, the parents and everything.
Yeah.
And,
Okay. I had a question about a footprint I seen one time.
mm-hmm.
It was like let's see how to explain it, like a small footprint, and the pinky kind of like at the top joint where the first joint is on your pinky was turned to the side, like it was broke or something. I don't know how to explain it. Like straight up and straight out to the right
Yeah.
or left, depending on which hand. I have pictures of those footprints too. I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, it does. Some of them, it's DNA, and some of them do have like that. What's it? The ape DNA or the monkey DNA.
Okay.
So some of them do have, and it has to do with their, the DNA of what they've been eating because, some of them have three toes like the storks and things like that, or four toes, six toes,
Okay.
So don't be surprised at any configuration of those footprints.
Okay.
You may find hooves, you may find just claws, web feet.
Yeah, I have some of claws too. I've seen it, just the claws at the top.
Yep.
Like,
You got it. It's right there. We just have to know that these are just hybrids.
yeah.
But they are still in that Bigfoot DNA, or that Bigfoot family. So those are very dangerous. No matter what the prints are, if they're not our prints or prints that we know, then those are predator prints you're seeing that.
Okay.
Do you know how to cast prints or
No, I need to learn how to do that.
okay. Actually, it's very simple and you can it works better with cold water.
Okay.
You can buy the plaster of Paris at the hardware store is the best place, maybe Walmart.
Okay.
And just take you a like I want to say it's a quart size a gallon size plastic, those zipper kind of things.
Yeah, the lot bag thing.
Yeah, the baggies.
Okay. Yeah.
Almost, I would say, fill that about halfway with the plaster of Paris, and
Okay.
take you at least 3 deals of water, which is the 8-ounce waters that you can get the bottled water.
Uh-huh.
And if you can, take it out there cold. But if not, just try to chill it out as much as you can before you go and cast it. Take
Okay.
you a wire whip if you can, or a stick. Just something. And if you got to, use your hands. But and also you can close your bag and squish it back and forth. But you need to just mix it up to where it's almost like pancake mix.
Okay.
And then just pour it in there. And if you can see those claws, pour them in the claws first.
Okay.
Make
First.
sure, yeah, make sure they get in those little holes.
Yeah.
And the best you can see as far as the footprints or ridges, try to get those first, and then fill in the rest.
Okay. I got you.
And also, you can put little sticks, maybe the size of a small peg, or um, just a small rock or something, and put it inside the plastic, but don't push all the way through it. But when you
Uh-huh.
lift it, it'll help you pull it out without having to dig all the way around it and everything.
Okay.
And also clean out the debris as much as you can before you do that.
Okay.
Now, if it's high grass, if you still have to, um, if grass is still caught in there, that's okay. But you may have to kind of dig underneath the roots to get you a good, to pull it out really good.
Okay.
And then when you get back to the house, dust it off and clean it just the best way you can.
All right, I will.
And I would think I'd let it set for at least a day back at the house. I mean, it should only take about a good one, maybe about two 2 hours, I would say, to get a real good thick cast.
Uh-huh.
And try to make it at least 2 inches deep if you can. You want it as deep as and thick as you can so it doesn't break when you lift it.
Okay.
Okay. Wow, this sounds good, and I'm glad we're keeping up with you. And any questions like that, we're gonna be checking in with you nightly,
Okay.
along with these other trackers, and then we're gonna have interviews after that. I think we're moving it to like a 2 hour thing. The first hour is just to check on everybody, make sure everybody's okay, and we're keeping up with everybody, and questions or things like that, and updates.
Okay.
All right, April, it's great talking to you. I'm glad everything's working out. I'm glad you're where you're at, and you're actually helping a lot of people right now in your area, and on who are listening here also, because they're hearing that people are doing this and they're taking it serious, because this is something that deals with our families and our children.
Yes, exactly. Excuse me. And I just want to do everything I can to help anybody if I can, because I don't want anything to happen to anybody. And I sure appreciate everything y'all are doing.
Yeah, we're helping just like you are, and just having the daily talks with you and keeping up and talking together, we're able to do this, able to help more people, and I really appreciate your help, April.
I appreciate y'all's help too. Y'all have a great night.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and we'll check in on with you tomorrow. We're gonna make a few quick phone calls real fast, and check on some other guys real fast.
Okay. All right.
All right, and tomorrow night also, if you can, when we call, have your ringer off,
Okay.
because like in the evenings, like that 6 o'clock when that night light comes on, that street light comes on, we should be listening. And when phones ring, that gives a location of somebody's home, and somebody's either in this room, or you know what I mean.
Okay. I sure will.
And
I sure
also,
thank you.
huh?
I thank you for that. I didn't think about that.
And also, like here at the house, and when I have friends come over or something, we always say, pretend that I have headphones on. That just means don't yell from one room to the next.
Okay.
Because if these children are yelling in that room, those Bigfoots are, going to that side of the house.
Okay.
And every time we yell, we're giving our location of where we are inside the house.
Okay.
So let's just be more observant, and spend a little time just listening. Just that quiet game. Let's just listen. Let's just see if we can hear. And if you hear a noise, somebody raise their hand. Make it a game.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's what we're also teaching children, that when you're on the road or going through your neighborhoods or things, you know how they used to say, I spy.
Yeah. My mama used to play that with us.
Yeah, so now we're saying, let's find a Bigfoot, see if there's any Bigfoots out there. Let's find
Okay.
anything that's not supposed to be there, anything that's different. Just make it a fun game, but an educational for them to be aware and observant.
All right.
And also that they start at the baseline. Look for little oddities underneath the brush. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. And always keep your warrior eyes, because these creatures watch people and they look for fear also. So let's teach those warrior eyes to and also whenever we're out in the field, we know that they can pick up thoughts and things like that. So if we have thoughts out in the field, the only thoughts that we have out there when we're tracking is, I will kill this, or I will kill you if I find you.
Okay.
And those thoughts right there, we know push these things out of our areas while we're walking through there, because they know this. The thought of this one says that if it finds us, it's going to kill us.
All right.
So we need to put that warrior mentality, those warrior eyes, and to teach that to the young ones. We need them to have no fear. When it's time for them to do something, they're ready.
Okay.
Everybody in the family's got to be ready. We cannot have weaknesses in anybody in our home.
Yeah.
Also, I know, I mean, it's your house, so you know where every creek, every oddity sound is. So teach the children to not step on that creek when they're walking.
Okay.
And also practice walking in your house with all the lights off.
Okay.
Clear your paths, so there's no toys, no tripping, no stepping on anything that's going to stub your toe or make you yell out, like a tack or something.
Oh yeah.
Make sure everything's clear. Those aisles are clear, so that if you've got to walk at nighttime in the dark, to hear something or get a better listen to, you're not stepping on creeks, and you're not giving your position away.
Okay.
And those are just techniques that we use, especially whenever we're in active areas, so that we have the advantage of listening to where they're at, where our weapons need to be.
Yeah.
Okay, April. And we're gonna be going over things like this every night. We're gonna catch up, uh, and we want to know what's going on daily.
Okay.
All right, April. This sounds great.
All right. Sure does. So thank y'all.
Yeah, we'll be in contact again. We'll talk to you tomorrow night.
All right.
All right. Have a good night, April. Be
You too.
safe.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, now we're going to call another tracker friend. He was on the road, so that's when we gave him a little bit more time, and we're going to where um we want to work with our friends on their schedules, but we also want to check in on them and trackers and the people who have the firsthand experience or the active areas. We want to have daily contact with you. We want to know what's going on and how we can help you. Things to look for, our techniques, tracking techniques, and just things to look for. So every night before we have the interviews, we're going to contact and friends, and we're going to get to a point to where they're going to contact here and they're going to say checking in, active or no activity, activity or no activity. And if they have activity, uh, well, we know the active areas, so we will spend a little time just to find out what kind of activity, so that what they're listening for, what we're helping with the techniques and how to be safe out there. And there's a lot of things that a lot of people don't know about these predators that we do, and we give that information here also. So we're gonna make another call, and he should be home. One of the trackers. We'll contact him right now.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. 337.
Okay, so our friend is not on at the moment, and he was traveling back and forth. So while we're here, I do want to go over a couple of things. As you heard, we were speaking with an active area just a few minutes ago. We're doing daily check-ins with this family and all of the guests, all of the people who uh, visit with us and share their experiences. We will give you our tracking techniques, our techniques of how we deal with these creatures, uh, deterrents that you can use, and the right and wrong way to enter into your homes, your driveways. But just saying that, we want everyone to be careful when they're coming home. Your house, if you have an active area, is an ambush area. They know you're going to return home. If you're isolated, be more aware of the animals, the population. If you see one, that's an oddity. If you see one squirrel, because there should be, especially if they're young, all young, you'll see a whole bunch of young squirrels together. And if they start branching out, they're not going to branch out far from their nest, from their home nest. So you should see at least 6 squirrels in your area if you've got a nest in there. And more than that, you're probably going to have more nests than that. But if you don't, if you only have one deer, one squirrel, one rabbit, those things, those are times to be aware, because those are just for your normality. That's for you to know that there's still wildlife around. Not everything's eaten. Don't worry. You're seeing animals, rabbits, and squirrels, whatever. But these are times to be wary for warriors. We pay attention to these things. Um, if you lived in your areas for quite a while, check your game tags, your deer tags, check your hog tags. They are listed, in the state registry. Um, check the last 3 years. Look around, talk to the hunters, talk to the people who hunt. How was last year? How was this year? Were there a lot of deers? Those hunters will tell you. Um, get that information from them. Your children need to observe you. They need to observe how you're checking on your windows, making sure they're locked at night. They need to observe you locking the door. They need to see you observing oddities out the window. They need to know what to look for. People think children are children, but they're not. They are guides, and they are very aware and alert. These are the best times to be teaching them. You have to teach the children. Um, teach and talk to your children when you're doing this as an instructor. Don't teach it like they're your friend or they're your children. You have to teach them like an instructor to get through to them. It's a whole different tone. It's just like what we're doing now, one tone level, so that they understand that you're not getting excited, you're not getting angry, you're not changing your tone at all. Talk to them the way we would talk to each other. When we're in meetings, this is the way we talk. We're talking exactly how we would now. We're all friends. We all understand what everyone's going through and the situations. So just talk to each other normally, but talk and talk to the children. Teach the baseline. Always start at baseline. Look for those oddities at the ground. Look for discoloration, shapes, darker than dark shadows, twitches of fur, because fur will twitch, leaves will blow. Look for that twitch. Also, know that once you come out of your house, you go right into the center of a Bigfoot kind of location. And that's the same way it works. When you're out in the forest, when you're walking, they're keeping this same distance with you. They're keeping that same distance with you. Always know that. Also, that when you're in the forest, they're going to go around you. So wherever you're at, they're going to be behind another tree, just like that. And whenever you move this way, they're going to move around. They're going to keep this line with you around that tree. They're going to keep it just like that so you never see them. When you're in the forest and you've got more than one person, go ahead and let that one person walk a little bit of you. The other person stand back and observe for movement or um, glimpses or blurs. Let that person walk left or right. Then you take off in a different angle. If that predator's out there, you're going to pinpoint it by hitting different angles. Use your angles. Use your angles because if you're going right in, they're going to stay behind that tree wherever you walk. When you walk, they're going to be behind another tree. They're just going to keep getting behind trees and trees. And what we call the red light, green light game. Every time you turn your back, they're moving up. They're dropping down. They're low crawling. They're moving. Every time you turn your back to them. This is also why we tell people to take a picture, over your shoulder, you know, or if you have a friend with you and you find an oddity, take a picture of them, but you're taking a picture of what's behind them. And then when you get, once you get that picture, then blow it up. Then you're going to see what's behind you. But always, and you can do this at restaurants and things like that, always set across from each other so each one of you can look over the other's shoulder at all times. These are techniques also how we teach young people, young parents to teach is to always sit in opposite areas unless you're in a booth to where you can both sit with your back against the wall. That's a great observation area. Um, Whenever you're out in the field, we also want you to know about your body and some feelings and abilities that you have that you may not know about. Now, your right eye, and of course we're turned around on the screen here, but this is my right eye. Now, on the right eye, it's used to capture glimpses, blurs, shadows, movement, and very quick movements. Thunder is in the area. I can hear thunder. So we're going to have thunder tonight. Those are Bigfoots, but these sound like they're in the distance. But we will listen. Also, listen for lightning, the sound of lightning, because there is a group of Bigfoots that makes the the crackling sound of lightning. Be aware on these nights. Buckle in, get your weapons. Um, and they remember that on these nights when you have thunder and lightning, they used the sound and the cover of the weather, which is the rain. They will make the rumbling. They will stomp that ground. They will make that rumbling. You will feel that tremble. They will make those flashing, bright, hard calls. But on these nights, when they are out there doing this, they are also hunting. They are looking for people to come outside, go to shelters. They're going to try to scare you out of your house. Once you come out of your house, you're fair game. Buckle down, get your weapons, especially on thunder and lightning nights. Be aware, be awake. Um, they'll try to get under your tin roof. They'll try to drop a tree on your house, try to get in. If it's open, it's open. Um, they'll shake your house. They'll grab your house and shake your house. Thunder will do that. Lightning will do that. They will knock down trees outside your house to build a blind. So when you come out in the morning, they're behind that blind. This is mostly for people in isolated areas, but they do hunt in cities and towns. So you will also see this. When they're knocking down those trees, you hear them cracking, trees breaking branches. Look at that branch. It will be pulled down in a strategic place to where whoever's coming out of that house is going to have that branch in front of them. That is a blind that they built for the morning trap. And remember, when I'm talking about thunder and lightning, I'm talking about a group of Bigfoots, not just one. I'm talking about a group of Bigfoots, a group of Bigfoots called lightning, which we can hear now. They do still sound like they're in a distance. Also, a blood moon. They're out hunting tonight under the blood moon, under this cover. Now, this thunderstorm has been generated with, weather modifications. These are traps. So people be really aware of tonight if you have thunder and lightning in your area. As trackers, we say, hear thunder, find thunder. Find that location where the thunder's coming from. Find that location where the lightning sound is coming from. Find that location. You will know how close they are by their sounds. Use this to your advantage. You'll know what side of the house they're mostly on. You'll know how close they are by the tremble, by the sound of the loudness of the the uh, the lightning sound. And right now we can hear the thunder, we can hear the motion. It is in the distance right now, but we are also in an active area. The whole area is an active area. Um, a lot of our friends and family already know. We are taking our precautions. We like for us and our family, we're ready. Uh, we know by our experience and our expertise as far as knowing everything about the Bigfoot predator. So we know when it's time to be really on our toes or when everything is all clear. Always scout your areas in your home area. Like if, and I do have to say this right now, but buy the Bigfoot documentary. All this is on it and more. There's more things you need to know. We're covering what we can with you with the time that we have. Um, and also, like I said, it's for me, it's just repeating and repeating and repeating. But get that documentary. I don't have to repeat myself, and you have all the information you need to protect yourself and your family. Like I said, we've got thunder. This is a generated storm that we've got. A lot of people don't know that, but a lot of our friends do know this. So on our night here, we're prepared. We're getting ready. Thunder and lightning are in the area. Um, so remember your ambush spots. Also remember that a Bigfoot predator, you may not even see them in that front brush line. Those trees in the distance, if you look carefully, you're going to see that those trees in the distance have a hole in the brush in the tree that goes further back to a tree to where they can sit and watch you at a long distance through the trees at a long distance. There'll always be at watching your front door and your open windows. They will always be there. We did some scouting the other day in another location, and from where the house was, we tracked all the way back into the trees to look at the trees, and that's where we found a lot of um, discoloration and disturbance in the trees of where some were sitting and watching a house. There are, but always look in that distance. Don't just think that they're going to be real close. If you've got a slope or a mountain area, they're going to be back there sitting in that tree with an area that is just, if you really look, you're going to see there's a visual the whole way to that tree and where they sit. Also, behind thick foliage and brush lines, they will have just pieces just clipped off and just put their eyes right in the brush line. And this, everything else is vegetation. So all you're seeing is nothing really. You're not thinking that that little, you won't be able to see it, but they're there. So be careful with those brush lines. Clean that area out. Get it to where you can see what's in there. Trim your trees, do what you have to do so that you have a clear line of sight. In the military, you need a clear line of sight for your target. Um, Let me go ahead and call my friend back real fast because he just texted and he wanted to know if we called, but I did see a flash of lightning, so we're gonna get this call and then we're gonna get a little quiet here because we need to be listening tonight. Okay, so I hope everyone heard that you know people would say they're under a tornado watch. What we say is we're under a thunder and lightning watch, and we will be watching. Let me see if my friend is back because he expressed that he didn't, or he wanted to know if we called or not. So let's check in on another tracker, one of the best trackers I've ever been with.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing, tracker?
Oh, I'm all right today.
Oh, good, good. Yeah.
It's been a hot day.
Oh yeah, yeah. We're checking in with everybody, and this is. Well, give me just a second, Steve. But this is a friend of ours, a well-known tracker, a very good tracker, one of the best trackers we've been with. He is in the Louisiana area, which is I'm in Oklahoma. When we do have different trackers, even some in Colorado who we communicate with. So we're gonna talk with the tracker now and just get updates of activity, or if not, no activity, or just kind of give us an update of uh, the going ons in that area. So, Steve, if you could, give us a little update of even just what you was trying to do and how things kind of didn't work out. Just kind of let us know that you are doing what needs to be done.
Yeah, I was out. Well, I planned to go out today, but the people I was going to meet with today had some family problem, and they had to deal with that. So, but I mean, we've been looking into some stuff. Supposedly, in the area that where I was going to go to today, that we were going to look at was a place they had. They claimed that they found some beds and like some bedding areas, and like some places. There's some places where there's a lot of bones and everything. And well, I wanted to go check that out. We've seen that before.
Yeah.
And there we didn't get to do that, but there's been a lot more missing people in that area too. There seems to be one place in the lake where they've been finding a lot of men that drowned, or they claim they drowned in the lake. They've been finding a lot of bodies in the lake, and pretty much the sheriff's department and all says, "Oh well, they found the boat, they drowned." And at first they would tell about it. We would hear about it like every weekend. They'd be out in the news, that somebody drowned in the lake. But now they're not even put it out in the media.
you know. And another thing they're not putting out in the media is there's several women that has come up missing just in the past couple of days. They don't even put it in the news anymore, you know. All in that same area, you know, and they're not talking about a lot of the stuff that's going on, you know. They try to keep it quiet. So we're going to look into some of that, but you know, there's a reason for that, you know, and evidently they're not wanting any of us to know.
Yeah. Now, like in the film, we talk about different ways that Bigfoots do kill, and one of them is drowning.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever they do drown them, they will drink blood from those people,
Yeah.
and so they still get the DNA. They get the blood. Um, that's an art.
And of course, what they're telling us in the news, what your local sheriff, which is pretty much worthless anyway. Um, they're not going to tell you anything.
No, no. And a lot of them can't tell you anything.
Yeah.
They don't. They don't know what's going on.
They don't know, or they don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just that the way you phrase that the people who are like that and don't get together and talk about this, that they just don't know that they need the people to know this, because when it comes down to them or their family, they're going to need people to know also.
Yeah. And in the same area, there's like for a month now, there's been this. He was a special needs kid, but he's an adult now. But just a special needs person just went missing from his home, you know. And they've done a couple searches, they walk around the yard and whatever, but none of them don't ever go in the woods and go look.
Yeah, the ones that do know, they won't go in those woods.
Yeah, and a guy that I track with a lot, he was in on that search, and he told him, he said, we need to go look in the woods. This is out in the country. This place is out in the country. He said, we need to start looking in the woods and all.
Yeah.
No, we're not gonna go. We're not gonna go do that. So. They don't even try. And then, they was abducted. They was abducted. They'll turn up later. But yeah, there's some things they probably know that they're probably hiding too.
Yeah. When was the last? You said there was some recent missing women. When was like the very latest that you know?
Well, the last thing that happened was, I don't remember now. It was Friday evening sometime.
Oh wow! I thought you was talking
girls,
like
3 girls went missing.
3 girls.
And 3 girls went missing. They found 2 that was drowned. They claim they was drowned, and then the other one is still missing.
Well, we know that Bigfoots will take them, and they will do that too, especially with they'll put bodies in rivers, and only there's always one missing.
Yeah.
If there's a group, the rest of them will be killed in some way, either like they'll say they fell off a mountain or something, but there'll always be one missing.
Yeah. Alligators do that too. Somebody's in the water, they'll just take that person and they drown them, and then they like stash them in underneath some logs and stuff, and they'll come back and eat them later.
Yep, same thing with Bigfoot.
Alligators do things like that too.
But also with Bigfoots, they will keep live prey.
Mm-hmm.
And so when these people don't go searching for these people, or they mess up those tracks, and these are actual people. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
These are people. These are things that we would be going through if we was in their situation.
That's the biggest problem I've had when I've showed up at one of these places before where there was missing people. Where when I get there, the people that don't know what they're doing has already tracked the area up so bad I can't see anything. You know,
You
and
are
and you bring a dog. You bring a dog, and they've already tracked the area up so bad the dog can't even get any scent. They don't really know how to. What we say. Preserving the scene. They don't really know how to do that.
yeah.
You know, and a lot of them they don't know what to look for. A lot of people don't know what to look for.
You're right.
That's why that happens. It's all about training, I guess. And knowing what's going on.
Yeah, we were actually talking about how search and rescue and all these search groups, they, like you're saying, they track up all those tracks that we need. And we were also talking how the trackers need to be sent in first, to catch that trail.
Right.
But also there are Bigfoots waiting for search and rescue or for trackers. So we got to be aware that there's sentries waiting to give the all clear of is all clear to take this person because nobody's coming, or we'll get that bird whistle or that thunder, whatever it is, and say there's people out here. If there's a lot of people, the thing is let them go. You know, or it's always someone who cannot tell us.
Yeah. Or there's some hanging around, and they're like trying to bait others in.
Yep, they sure will, and they will get people to follow wrong tracks because the Bigfoot that took that person, that's his prey.
Yeah.
The next one that comes in belongs to that one. The next one comes in belongs to that one. They just wait for their choice to come running in.
Yeah, and I got to listening last night when I was out. At nighttime, what we always call the whippoorwill. The whippoorwill is the only bird that would actually, maybe sing at night,
Mm-hmm.
and you can shine a light, and he's the only bird that his eyes will glow at night,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd hear him, and I started shining a light around, but I would see other sets of eyes too. Yep. And there was something that was whistling that was like trying to mimic the sound of the whippoorwill.
Yep.
And I had my dog with me, and the dog, she was looking. She knew something was going on because she didn't run out. She didn't go run out there and go barking like she always does. She's like under my feet, So she knew something was going on.
Yeah. Now, did you get to listen to last night's show?
I listened to part of it. I was having a lot of internet problems and all last night, so.
Okay, yeah. But if you can, there is a segment in there of a whippoorwill that came to the room or came while we were on air.
Yeah, I was listening to part of it. When you was talking with somebody there, she had crows visiting her.
Yeah. And she got rid of those, and then the whippoorwills come in. And like what we talked about last night, I was saying that, well, that whippoorwill is the light on. That means that people are located. That means that there's a Bigfoot outside that window, or it's looking at your window. It knows there's a light on.
Yeah.
And so she went into that room, and she did, like I told her that, or I let her know. I don't want to say I told her, but I let her know that if you go into that room, shut off those lights, close that door, but stay in it, and you'll just kind of look out. But you don't have to really look out, just listen, but not be visible, that whippoorwill will stop making noise, because now it's looking for you on another place as far as the house.
Yeah.
And that happened exactly the way we said it would happen.
They do like I did, start going out shining a light and everything, they end up getting quiet then.
Yeah, this is a little different situation because she's a grandmother and she has all the children with her.
Yeah.
So we told her it's better for her to be indoors with those kids.
Yeah, just stay inside. Yeah.
Yep, because they won't break that threshold unless you give them a way in.
Yeah. Them crows is a warning sign. Yeah, crows have something going on, and they're telling you.
Yeah. Well, the crows work with the Bigfoot because they spot food, and whenever they're calling on you, they're saying, "I found food over here," and you may be the no deer in the area, but you may be the only person in that area.
Yeah.
They'll make a call once they spot you, and the owl will do this too. But you have to stare at that raven and it will leave. You don't have to say anything or anything. But if it doesn't leave, that means that you're the only food in the area. And that's whenever you throw a rock, a stick, you have to let make that crow or that raven leave because you are not prey. And it will leave and say, this guy over here, he spotted me. He knows I'm, trying to tattletale, and he's staring at me. I'm not going over there. I'm going to this other easy prey who doesn't know I'm calling on them.
Yeah. Well, they're going to go to the easiest one.
You are correct.
The moral of that story: don't make yourself easy prey.
Exactly. You got to let them know you are not prey. We are not prey. We are not their prey. We're not anybody's prey. So also, we're going to start doing this on a nightly kind of check in with everybody. So especially in the active areas, we just want to make sure that we keep up with everybody who's having these activities, and just to do check-ins on everybody. That's okay with you?
Yeah.
Okay, because
of course I don't have problems around my house, and around me, but I know there's other people that does, and but I don't have problems.
Well, I mean, that's the thing.
I've had a lot of ticks played on me.
Well, I mean, you're different.
Yeah.
You're a tracker. You look for different things. Other people don't have a clue.
That's it. They don't know what's going on. That's what I'm saying. Don't make yourself prey.
Yeah. So they're gonna give you. I mean, they will test you, but they would rather go across the street to the guy who's cooking out and having a barbecue at 4 a.m. or getting drunk and passing out, and then they get to go drink blood all night if they want. But yeah, we're gonna do some checking in with everybody, and then we'll do our interviews. Like tonight, I wanted to kind of talk with everybody and let everybody know what we're doing, so that whenever we call in again, I mean, if we've got active, or if we got questions or something that's happening, then we could talk about that. But if not, we just want like a check in, like everything's copacetic, everything's good. Then we'll get to the interviews, which are going to be more active cases. And we can also, once we get more together, then I want to form like our panels and have everybody on if they want to be on the screen to help give these people information. Because everyone has this information. There, like our trackers, we have this information, and all of our trackers can answer these questions for everybody. But it's just always good letting everyone else answer it, because when people hear it from me, it's like that's one person. But when they hear from everyone else who knows what's going on, they do know that it's more than just one person, saying all these things.
Yeah. But I think we talked about this the last time, but people has called BFRO in the area. And they may call them or message them or something, but they don't even show up to investigate anything. If it don't have something to do with them making a bunch of money out of it, I guess they don't show up.
You're right. You're right. If they were who they were, they should be in there on these missing person cases.
Yeah.
Investigating those areas, looking for tracks, everything, stories, everything.
And there is a company around the area that has been involved in a lot of these searches, but and they claim they don't have the manpower. They don't have the people. Well, they're running their business with volunteers. And the volunteers they get, they're just out there walking around. They don't. You can't really call them a tracker or anything because they don't know what they're doing. You're just out there walking around in the woods.
Yeah. And also, as trackers, we have to be very careful when we get called to track, especially when it's not anybody that we know or if it's from somebody who is not from that town.
Yeah.
We have to always be aware of, because sometimes they want the best trackers gone.
You have to be a hunter.
Yeah.
A hunter has to know how to track and how to hunt, but he also got to realize that he could be the hunted.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
That's a problem. Just getting good people to track, and there's been some of these that come out with canines, and they'll bring bloodhounds or something. They bring some breed of dog that everybody's been using, and they're not really a trained dog either.
Yep, I know what you mean.
They keep raising these dogs off of this bloodline because, way back, one of them, like their great grandparents or something, was a good tracker, right? So they keep raising dogs off that bloodline, and the time you get to the dogs you have nowadays, you don't have anything,
Yeah.
A dog has got to have those skills too.
Yeah. Yeah, we was training one dog with the Sierra Sounds.
Yeah.
At first, because the dog was with us, and this dog has been tracking for a while. It's been out in the field, and so we were training it. So when it hears those sounds, with Bigfoot sounds, to be calm.
Yeah.
Because we're listening, we're trying to get this location, and so we train with the dogs that way to where they're quiet and they're listening.
Right.
And they help us, find that location. And if it's coming at us, we back out, or if it's going past, we'll get the video.
And the dog has to learn what it is too. When a dog smells something, there's like 9 million sensors goes off, and it affects their hearing, and what they see and everything. It affects all their senses when they pick up a scent. And the dog has got to know too what it is. You'll get that good dog, and he knows what it is. He's going to shut up. He's not going to say anything. He's going to come back to you.
Yeah.
And you get some of those dogs that just get scared because they don't know what it is. They don't know what this is. They're going to get scared. They're not going to pursue it. They're not going to go any further.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like dog is man's best friend, as the term goes. That dog will fight with you and for you, but let's not ask the dog to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Once they spot it, that's good enough for us. Let's pull back. Let's make sure everybody's safe, especially the dogs, because they will defend us and they will fight with us, but we don't want to put them in that situation.
Yeah. You got to learn to listen to your dog.
Yeah. Oh, and the animals, all the animals.
Yeah. Learn to listen to all of them.
And we were also discussing last night how Bigfoots will use like the Chihuahua looking dogs, the small, cute and cuddly ones to draw children and people and adults into that forest.
I've even heard of, other guys tell me that they would see like this coyote pup just standing there, you know, and they're like hollering at him and moving around, and it's like he's just standing there looking at him, this coyote pup, you know, and you know, they didn't know what to do, you know. And I say, you know, well, you know, they could be using that coyote pup for bait.
Yep, you're right. And they were. And they also wanted to know what kind of people were out there. If they're going to
Yeah,
shoot this coyote pup, then they're either hunters, but they got weapons. That's all they need to know.
use that to draw you out.
Yep, exactly.
That's what the purpose of it was.
Yep. And they I'm glad you spot all these and you know all this, because a lot of people don't know about these lures and how they use multiple techniques to draw people out.
And you know, and you know, as I look at a lot of this stuff, uh, they probably learned all this stuff from us.
Well, yeah, we teach them how to capture us. You know, like we're saying, we're out there waving at our children, yelling their name. Bigfoots will pick up, and then they'll call that children's name and wave the same way the parent did to call the kid. You know,
And they mimic sounds.
they sure do. Every sound. You know, like we were discussing when we had you on the other day about even they made that walkie-talkie, that that military sound,
Yeah,
and that was out there in the middle of nowhere. You know, as far as the mountain went up in that range area.
yeah. It was close enough to the ranges over there that I'm sure that they've heard the military doing that.
Yep. And you kind of sounded the children out there.
Yeah.
They've been around kids. They're always around. We got to stress that to people, that you got to watch your daycare areas. You got to do that scouting around anywhere children are. You got to do that scouting out there.
You know, there's stories of this that go way back. You know, in Malaysia and even Vietnam. You know, we had soldiers in Vietnam that said they seen a Bigfoot in the jungles. You know, and I was looking at a thing last night where there's actually been people investigating what's been going on in Malaysia lately. You know,
Yeah.
and they've got casting of footprints and things. You know, and you know, a lot of it's been coming out, but then you got these government officials too that's holding them back. You know, won't let them go in certain areas. You know, and you're not allowed to go in there and do this. You know, you can't go there. You know, kind of thing. You know.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, and that's why we were saying, in your areas, whenever you have to report anything, make sure it's somebody you know and trust, like you grew up with this guy. It's because there are other agencies that come out, and it's not to a person's benefit to report things like this.
Yeah. Around here we don't have anybody you can report it to. You know, they pretty much just blow you off if you report it. You know.
Yeah,
They can tell you you're crazy or whatever. You know.
Yeah, they tried doing that here to a person who reported, which there was a documentary done on that with Mark Copeland on Bigfoot Odyssey of this same area, and when he reported it, he said he felt like they were, not taking it serious, and that they were kind of, and the report wasn't even filed, from what I understand, the first time. He had to call in to get a report filed.
Yeah. Well, there's supposed to be and I was told this fall is when it's supposed to come out, but there was some researchers in this area with like one of the major Hollywood movie companies, that was doing a documentary in the area, and I think that's supposed to be coming out this fall. I don't remember now what the name of it was, but yeah, it's supposed to be coming out.
Wow.
There's been a few things that's been done, but of course, you know what they do. Well, it's fiction.
Yeah, you are correct. And that's also, I'm going to go ahead and plug the DVD, but In the documentary that we have done, that we cover so much that whoever gets it, knows what we're doing. This is the language that like yourself and myself included. We have a different language. We talk about different things and terminologies and things that normal people don't know.
Yeah.
And so we were, trying to get people to understand the importance of this documentary, because it will save lives, and it already has, because people who has took the time to look at it has seen things that they've never even heard of or knew about.
Yeah, how many people have you run into too that says, "Oh, well, that ain't true. That's just made up." If that was true, why haven't they captured one? Why hasn't somebody killed one? And and all this. Well, there's been lots of photographs. There's been lots of audio recordings. There's been some killed. And
Yeah,
there's all kind of proof out there.
there is, and we actually know, people in those categories that you're talking about. Um, so Joe, I almost said Joe Blow, and Joe Blow is actually a viewer of ours. I don't, in a way, I was gonna say the average Joe Blow, and
Yeah.
I don't think that's his actual name, just his terminology. But the average Joe Blow is, kind of, they don't have any of this information, and they're thinking everything is just so, there's no problems out there.
Yeah. Well, it's like what we say. They've been drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or they haven't.
Whatever the government tells them.
Yeah, they've been drinking whatever the TV has been telling them too.
Yeah.
And I'm going, these
Yeah.
things are outside people's houses, and they're watching football games, drinking and barbecuing 10 feet away from a blind.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
You got somebody out standing in his yard, and he disappears, out in the middle of nowhere, oh, he was abducted.
Yeah.
Somebody took him, whatever, well, okay, where they at,
Yeah. And like, and people who who have grown up with autism and things like that, or speech impairment, or even a person who may have been born deaf, their tone is almost the tone of a child.
Yeah.
Of children. So Bigfoots are attracted to autism, people with speech problems and things like that, because it's a different pitch.
Right. It goes back to what we were talking about. That's people that's vulnerable. So.
And yes, those are very vulnerable people, especially
like the guy said here in the area. That was autistic, with special needs that come up missing.
Yeah.
Somebody was vulnerable.
And then again,
the opportunity was there, and they took the opportunity.
Exactly. Now, but then again, who's going to believe the autistic child?
Yeah.
Who's going to believe that the autistic child is hearing things knock on his house or out the window, or seeing things?
Yeah. You know how many, all the old ancient stories and everything that like all the old Choctaw and Cherokee, the Navajo, and all these old stories they told. People just thought that was all bullcrap, but there was truth to all them old stories.
Yeah, every story we were given.
Yeah.
And then again, who's going to believe that child who just came inside and said they seen something that looked like glass, or it was see through?
Yeah.
Also, when we're talking about the mimicking the sounds and everything, there is a friend who, their two girls, or the girl and her friend were trying to camp outside their house, and they heard in that raspy voice, that deep raspy voice, "Here, kitty, kitty."
Yeah.
And they, that freaked them out enough to go inside, and that was in the camping in that area.
Yeah. And the Bigfoot, he had heard people doing that, calling the cat.
You're exactly right.
And he's mimicking what people done.
You're exactly right. And people just don't know this stuff.
And maybe they don't. They're mimicking what we do, and they probably don't. Maybe they don't really realize what we're calling and what we're doing, and they're just mimicking that sound to try to attract us, or maybe they are smart enough they know exactly what we're doing.
Well, we always have to understand that we're not their first house. We're not their first encounter.
No.
And this is thousands, millions of years that they've, and every generation has these things upticked and come in and
Right.
do a lot of harvesting, I guess you would say, with people.
Well, all the old traditions and everything, all the old native traditions, they left them alone. It was one of them deals where you leave me alone, I'll leave you alone.
Which
They knew
also,
what was going on, and they knew what was going on. You got a society today where people think they're in charge of everything.
yeah, they have no clue what's even out there.
Yeah. There's a being out there that's more powerful than you are. And they don't realize that.
Yeah. Yeah, we was talking to a person, and when they were explaining 17 footers and 19 footers, and that's what we tell people to prepare for. And so whenever and she's a good friend now, but whenever she was talking about that, I got the feeling that she was kind of like, when I say 17 or 19 footers, maybe he's not going to grasp what I'm saying, that kind of thing. But I said, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I've heard of something being that big, but I don't know what I'd do if I run anything in that big.
Well, I've seen them, and they're, I would say, like half the size of a house, taller than the house. And in the documentary film, you can actually, if I didn't want to, because it's not a perfectly clear, picture as far as the rest of the film. So I didn't say, well, there's a 20-footer right there. It shows like a small Bigfoot laying on top of one of the old houses where we were observing, but in the background there's a big one that's standing there watching the whole thing from over the house. It's like looking over the house at us.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it, I'm going, that's at least 20, 21 foot.
Out in the Southwest, you look at the cave drawings, and the stuff done by the Navajo and all, why did they draw that creature so big, in that drawing? Compared, that there'd be comparison there, of how big he was compared to their house, and the people,
Yep.
Why did they draw him so big if he wasn't big?
Yeah. Yeah, all that cave art, everything, is very descriptive if people realize, and they look at the size of normal people to the creatures in those cave drawings. You'll also see those Bigfoots in those cave drawings with weapons and riding animals.
Yeah, and there'll be red on there too, and I'm assuming the red depicts blood. Why did they put red on there too?
That you are exactly right.
If it wasn't something to that, why did they put that on
there? And the multitude of them, as even from a person expressed to me that even in the Bible they come as locusts.
Yeah.
The multitude.
There've been too many drawings of them where ancient drawings of them being like family groups.
Yeah, and that Bible thing is about us being small compared to the cave drawings and the stories. And that's what we see when we're out in the field. And every time we talk about the field, it always has to do with the documentary, because once people see the ambushes, where we went, the locations, what to look for, normal people without the skills would be killed, eaten, caught, captured, but we go into places that normal people will not go, and we give them inside views of these traps, caves, ravines, and things like that we would not recommend anyone doing it unless they were someone like like yourself or an experienced tracker and hunter.
Yeah.
But um I had something written down I was gonna talk about. Oh, we was talking about the cave art. That's also um the people who have been deciphering the cave art is doing it wrong.
Yeah.
The,
I'm sure that they translate a lot of things wrong.
yeah, on purpose. I mean, like what you're talking about, what I'm talking about is the correct way to decipher it, but the people on the TV shows are doing it on purpose to get people to not understand the severity of what is happening right now in everyone's areas.
Yeah. There's a show on right now, Expedition Bigfoot. I think there ought to be a new episode coming out tonight, but they're getting close to a lot of stuff, and even some of the places they've been experiencing some government cover up stuff too.
Wow, I didn't know that. I generally try not to watch the other ones, which I mean, now that you mentioned things, I may kind of look at this, but to me, they're doing everything wrong and dangerous, and it's just I just
Yeah.
can't watch
Oh,
these.
they do a lot of stuff wrong and a lot of stuff dangerous. They really do. Especially when they have people going out at night by themselves.
Oh my goodness! Yeah,
You send a woman out by herself at night. And somebody said, "Well, she got the cameraman with her." Well, the cameraman, he's filming. His attention is on that. His attention isn't on what's going on all around and what's going on, in the woods, and all. So
they don't know about the 17, 20, 21, 25 footers. They don't know about these huge giants out there.
yeah, I know. And and those really large males like that is what I've always found and been told to be the worst ones.
Yeah, they are. They are.
Because you may have a female with a baby or something. She may be real gentle and not really be harming anybody and everything, but it's them old males that are really bad.
They they have a bigger appetite.
Yeah.
And they're not afraid, to take. And like we're also saying, villages have disappeared. Not just single people, not just groups, but actual
Oh yeah.
villages.
There's a lot in history about villages that was being terrorized by them.
Yeah, I don't know if you know this story, but I had there was a ranger or a parks ranger. He visited a friend of mine who I was visiting, and we got on the subject of missing and murder because of course that's what we do here. But we were on that subject of missing people, and he kind of butted in. He goes, he let us know that he just quit the force, I guess you would say. And he goes, but I'm not really allowed to talk about it. I said, okay, well that's fine. To me, that's just an interruption. So
Yeah.
so we kept talking about tracking and things like that. And then he finally, I guess, got to the point where he just had to tell us because of what we were saying. And he said, I just pretty much before I left the force that uh he was on a call to a village in Alaska that came up missing. The entire village came up missing.
Right. There's a lot of stories of that. There's a lot of places in Alaska where that's been happening lately.
Yeah. And So he only worked for 10 years, and it was this probably happened about 5 years ago. So within, I would say, 10 years, I know of an entire village in the last 10 years completely disappearing.
Yeah. Well, it was all in the news here uh, last week. A soldier in Alaska that they're claiming he got attacked by a bear. Okay, well,
No, no bear.
look at the statistics though. How many people are actually attacked by a bear?
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, we know it was a Bigfoot. We know it was a group of Bigfoots that did this.
Yeah, I don't know that, but that's what they're going to do. They're going to say that there's going to be some kind of attack. Oh, it was a bear. You know. Okay, well, where's the bear?
Where's the bear?
Hey, show me the tracks.
Yeah. Show me the bear. If a bear did this, they would be out there. They would have a bear, but don't put it past these other groups to get them a bear from somewhere else.
Yeah.
Or
they come up with the story. Okay, it was a bear, and then somebody goes out and kills a bear. Kills a poor little old bear. Say we got him.
Yeah. Exactly. And this happens. This happens. So also, the park ranger guy, he was he was telling me about that whole village coming up missing, and so I stopped him and I said, when that village came up missing, this happened before the first snow or the first frost, didn't it? And he said yes, and I said, and this is not the only village, and this is not the only time, is it? And he said, nope. He said, there's been more.
Yeah.
So people know, parks know, everybody knows. It's just people just can't get themselves to realize there are predators out there that they do not know about.
That's something that I've done before is looked into the Alaskan Native culture. What they've said, and they don't say a whole lot. They're kind of those that believe that just talking about them and all conjure them up. So in their culture they didn't talk about it a lot. But
a lot of people don't understand. Even if you say the words snow, frost, mist, fog, dew, thunder.
Hush. I think the dog is. She knows something's going on right now outside.
Okay, let's be quiet. Let's listen to what's going on. See if we can't pick up something.
There's something going on. Walk around outside a minute and see.
Make sure you get your weapon.
You may smell something, but the moon's coming up now.
It's a blood moon. Be careful out there.
Yep, it is.
They hunt during this time. That's one of their most huntable active times, the full moons and blood moons.
She's just trailing around smelling. She picked up something,
Yeah.
A lot of people, a lot of other people have dogs, And the dog, the dog barks in the house, he alerts to something,
Yeah.
A lot of people just ignore that, but a dog's sense of smell is that good. I mean, there can be something outside and they either hear it, they can smell it,
Yeah.
People ignore it.
Yeah, or people will tell them to be quiet and hush and all that. Whenever this dog say, "I'm trying to warn you."
Yeah, he's like, "You stupid human! I'm trying to tell you, there's something out there."
Exactly. That's exactly what they're saying.
Yeah. Most dogs, most dogs I've found, they don't have a lot of fears. They're not like people. We know we're going to do a certain thing. We know we're going to touch that hot pot, we're going to get burned. And and things like that. They don't have all these fears running through them all the time, and so that's why they're not afraid of a lot of things. But once something does happen, of course, then they're scared of it,
Yeah.
or some dogs, you know, uh, they may even get to where they're mean. Then they know what it is, and they want to go kill it.
Yeah.
Look at people's hog dogs. Hog dogs are going out there. They get into the hogs, and the hog cuts them. You get a dog that's been cut a couple times by a hog, and then after that, and he's pretty mean. Then he don't like them hogs no more.
Yeah. Also, we have to let people know that those lights in the forest, or a Bigfoot will have a small Bigfoot. Like the bigger ones will walk on all fours, and the small one will ride it like a horse, and it will also hold a lantern up to look like somebody or somebody small walking in the forest with a lamp or alongside of a highway for people to stop for. You need a ride? But it looks like we lost the call. But Bigfoots will do that. They will ride on each other. Like the Bigfoot will be walking on all fours. The little one will ride on top and hold a lantern. This also is shown in the forest areas to where, or sides of roads where people would say, maybe that's a small child. Let's see if that child needs a ride. No one should be out here in a lantern walking down an isolated road at night in pitch dark night. That is a trap. Do not stop for anyone, and do not accept or take anything or go with anybody who you meet in the forest. That is one of the rules for warriors, for spiritual people. Whoever you meet in that forest, along that hiking trail, during that hey, we lost you, Steve.
Hey, dropped the call or got cut off somehow.
Yeah, and that may not be a oddity. That may be somebody just cutting us off.
Yeah, well, I don't know, and I was going to mention this the other day, but we've talked about this before. How to use the infrasound,
Yeah, yeah.
That stuff could affect electronics, and anybody who's done this stuff is no stranger to. All at once the camera doesn't work, or
yeah,
video camera or night vision goes out or something and doesn't work, so
yeah. Yeah, we've ran into those. We've ran into those things
yeah.
a lot of where we're at. Batteries being drained and things like that.
Yeah. How else could it happen? All at once, just a battery goes from 100% to nothing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we always make sure we got extra batteries. If those go down, we load some more. Those go down, we load some more. We just keep piling them in.
Yeah.
And we also
no stranger to us, people think that, well, you're crazy or whatever, Well, you know what? You go out there and try it because it happens.
It does. And I would say normal people should not go out there and try anything.
Yeah.
They don't know what to look for. They don't know what to smell for. And even they don't even listen to the animals. These creatures will actually, when they steal people or take people, they'll rape them and they'll rape the livestock. And there's a report of a woman in Dallas who was not only raped, but she was eaten pretty much at the same time. I mean,
yeah.
she survived enough to make it to the hospital and have the DNA out of what I believe, but she passed from the injuries and everything. But the enforcement at that area pretty much covered that up and said it was a pack of wild dogs.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. Anytime there's ever any possibility of DNA that could be gathered, it always disappears, you know.
Yeah, and from what I understand, they ordered a rape kit, so all that DNA was taken, and
they waited 11 hours in a thunderstorm with 6 911.
Send it some lab in China, and now they know.
yeah, and they all, from what I understand, they also waited 6 hours after a rainstorm, and also there was other people calling in who heard the screaming and everything that was happening, and they said that they were too scared to go outside just from the woman's screams, and the enforcement didn't come out to investigate until all the evidence was gone.
Yeah, after all the rain stopped.
Yep, exactly.
They scared to get wet.
They didn't want to go out to where this creature may still be active.
Yeah.
And I just hate hearing stories where there's no help for people, and that these people basically walk themselves into a trap by going out in that forest at night, cutting through that park at night,
Yeah.
taking their trash out at night. You know, when they can't see, they're taking food out there, and these things are just, and sending their kids out to take trash out at night and things like that.
That was one of the ladies here I was talking with. That was one thing she was talking about, where there was this young girl that worked with her, and she would walk home at night, and this girl knew something was in the woods and was following along beside her in the woods. And, you know, she just ignored it. She keeps on going. She goes home. And she was telling the lady about it, and then she said, "No, you're not going to do that no more." I said, "I'm going to start." I said, "You know, I got to go the same way you're going." I said, "I'll give you a ride," you know.
Good. And I'm glad people talk about things like this, because if they don't talk about it, they're going to keep walking down that road, even if, I mean, they have to, as what they feel as going to work to survive. So they're going to chance it just to not get in trouble at work.
And she works at Walmart, and they put this new Walmart store is like, you know, it's out of town there, you know, out of the old part of town, and it's connected to some of the big woods there, you know, one of the wildlife management areas, right?
Well, let's.
And something comes up out of the woods at night, and she said goes through the dumpsters that they have.
Yeah.
And they had put their smoking area, their little shelter that they go out and smoke under and everything. And she sat out there before, and she said that she knows there's something in the woods that's coming to the dumpsters. Yeah. And, you know, she's seen it. She's heard them in the dumpsters. Yeah. You know, she said, I ain't going over there. You know, she said, I'm not going to go over there and see what it is. And she just goes back in, you know.
Yeah. I'm glad she did that. These things are so close to towns. People just don't have. It's amazing that a lot of people don't observe their surroundings to know if there are predators or things that can harm their children or themselves, to not be aware of their surroundings. It's just amazing.
But now the dog just started growling all at once.
Okay.
When we went out, she wanted to go to the back of the house, and I wouldn't let her. When we come back in, now she's looking at the door. She's alerting to something at the door, and she's growling.
Okay, we can be quiet. We can listen. Whatever you want to do.
They know he's distracted.
She's listening.
They know you're distracted too, and they can hear you talking also.
Oh, they hear me talking on the phone.
Yep. They know where you're at. They know what room you're at. They pinpoint.
If I'm in here watching TV, they know what I'm doing. They know where I'm at.
Yep. And they also will get underneath that trailer.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they will dig a tunnel underneath that skirting, so you don't see a disturbed skirting.
Yeah, I already have skirting around mine, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, a lot of people don't. Have you ever had?
I've been here in the house before, and you hear something, that bangs on the, you know, the railing on the trailer, the railing, the frame, you know.
Yeah.
You hear something bang on that, you know.
How about your
And
plumbing? Has your plumbing ever been knocked loose, or
no, it's all anchored down and everything. I haven't ever had it knocked loose or anything, but
have you felt that trailer move?
no.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
I mean, it shakes before. Yeah, I've had stuff come around here before. A dog alerts to something, and knows there's something out there, but you feel the trailer shake like some brushes up against it or something.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. I've had reports of people telling me that same exact thing. They feel it move, and
Or people's house even.
yep, yep.
And I think they're probably leaning on it. They may be leaning on one side of it, looking around the corner or something like that. But they're putting some weight against it
Yeah, and
for it to move.
they're always trying to
You
look
know,
in windows and trying to pinpoint everybody and things.
they could be putting their ear up against it and listening,
Oh yeah, they
leaning
do.
against it and listening to see what's going on inside.
They want to know where you're at and what they can, because when they know exactly where you're at, they can do whatever they want to out there.
Yeah.
There's always
Like
some.
I said, I've never had any problems with anything. But,
Yeah,
I mean, I've had weird stuff before. Say, like I'm out working and I lay a tool down,
yeah.
come back later or come back the next day. Basically, come back the next day and that tool is gone. And then I find that tool then up on the roof.
So they were up on the roof, and they
Yeah,
don't.
or they put it up there. Maybe they're playing
Yeah,
tricks with me or something.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's not really tricks. It's just letting you know we're here. We're around. We come this
Yeah.
close. We're this close. We're on top of the house. But
Yeah, I had a saw when I was using the saw outside and whatever. It got dark. I come in the house, what I'm saying, and I have to go out the next day to go back to work, and I can't find my saw. I'm looking around all over for my saw, and I just happened to look up, and there my saw was on the roof. You know, I know
yeah,
I didn't put the saw on the roof.
yeah, we've had other reports of people doing. I mean, talking exactly the same thing. You're saying, and but we always tell people don't take anything lightly. Look at all the angles of what happened. How close they came, where they put it to uh
And I think a lot of that trickery like that going on is probably juveniles doing that.
yeah,
If it's one of these old rogue males or something.
yeah, the juveniles.
He's just gonna take you, and that's it. He's not gonna play no trick with you.
Yeah, well, the juveniles, they're the ones that make the mistakes.
Yeah, they do. And when people get video and people get pictures and stuff, that's what it is that
Yeah,
they're getting.
it's just the juveniles because they're not fully, and they're like a Labrador puppy. You know how they grow so fast, but they're still clumsy.
Yeah, yeah,
That's how they are. They're not, because they're supposed to have short legs, long body, and while they're juveniles, they have the equal proportion like a man would. So, but that's awkward for them.
yeah.
They're used to, or they want to get on all fours.
Yeah. And you hear those reports too of people will say, well, I seen them standing upright, and then when I scared them and they took off and everything, they took off running on all fours.
Yeah, you're right. You're
Yeah.
right.
I think that's all juveniles. That's a lot of what we see and we hear it all is the juveniles, and they're curious about us. That's the ones that plays all the tricks with us.
Well, we don't call them tricks. We call them they're getting in as close as they can and seeing how far they can get or how close they can get to you without disturbing you as far as alerting.
Right.
And
I mean, it may be a game to them to do that, or it may be, that's part of how they learn.
Predators.
well, it's their training, and we have to understand Bigfoots fight Bigfoots. Bigfoots kill. So the Bigfoots, they don't get charm school training. They're taught by vicious predators to survive and eat and trap.
Yeah.
So we have to understand that's their training. Their training is not to be the charming uh, Bigfoot, to be nice to you. If they're nice or getting gifts, they've already taught that person to bring them food, and that person is just on the food menu later.
Yeah.
And like these people who scoff at these techniques and things that we're trying to teach and trying to help people with, those people, I try not to give them too much of my time, but when they're interfering with everyone learning these same techniques that you and I are talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, they put people in danger. They put themselves in danger. They put their families in danger. It's just we, as I guess the Bigfoot, we are actually what I would consider the Bigfoot community, as far as we're the only people who understand the importance and the severity and what to look for, how to help other people. And whenever I look at these other groups, or some of those groups, they're people who's never even tracked, never spent time in the mountains, don't understand wildlife or tracks, or things like that.
When you see them, don't be worried about what you see, worry about what you don't see.
You're right. You're right. Especially if you see a juvenile or a small, cuddly, cute one.
Yeah.
That's just a big trap for you to think, oh, I can go get a picture of this little one and I'll be famous. And then you run off into that wood line, or as it scurries like a little child.
Just like a little bear, you see a little baby bear in the woods, mama ain't too far away.
You are correct. And with these things, they're never alone.
Yeah. When people does get those photos, and they see one, don't think that's the only one.
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that. And also, even like that Patty Gremlin film, that 7-footer, when people say, "Oh, that was a 7-foot Bigfoot," I'm going, that was just a pretty little decoy. That's not a 20-footer. That's not a.
Yeah, the old Gimlin, the Patterson Gimlin film.
Yeah, that was just a decoy to pull those guys into the forest and chase them, which they did. They got, they chased this Patty into the woodline.
Yeah, for a little ways. Yeah, they didn't go very far, because remember they had horses with them. And what have they always told? The horses was the ones that started acting up first.
The horses said, "Let's get out of here."
Then they seen it.
And then they seen it. You are correct.
Yeah. So I mean, they wasn't even paying attention and trusting their own horses.
They sure weren't. They weren't listening to the animal.
And I've been around horses all my life, rode horses all my life, and you come to a creek or a river or something. If there's something that horse don't want to do, there's a reason why he don't want to do it.
Yep.
You need to be looking at why.
Yep, you're right.
And anybody here in the South that's ever rode horses, they'll tell you the same thing. They're going along and the horse will alert to things, hogs, and bears and whatever in the woods. The horse alerts to it, and he smells it. And, if he don't want to go, there's a reason why he don't want to go. You need to be looking.
Yeah, because
they weren't paying attention, and is all it was. When I think he said he got his horse reared up and he got bucked off and he hit the ground, and then he got the camera and went to filming,
and took off running in the woods.
Yeah,
on foot.
And they never seen anything after that.
No, but they were surrounded. That was a trap.
They got castings, and they got that one bit of footage, And then see, then after that, they go back many times after that too. If you've ever listened to either one of them speak,
Mm-hmm.
they went back many times after that, and after that, they never got any more film. And that's because they already knew them. They already knew their scent. They already knew everything about them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like I mean, they're like these dogs. The dog remembers scents. They remember people.
Yeah.
They remember your scent.
But also these the Bigfoots, whenever they cover their scent, when they hold their scent, horses won't even alert on them. Or horses get so used to them that they're like, what's the point?
Yeah.
What's the point of alerting the
I
owner?
know that's the case sometimes too. Where your horses or your dogs or whatever, they get used to smelling that, and that's just like part of the area, and they don't even alert on it no more.
No, because the owner's not listening.
Yeah.
They're like, what's the point? I mean, I'm trying to. When I bark at the door, I'm telling you, there's something there. I'm not saying, I want to go outside. I'm growling at the door.
Yeah. And people a lot of times take that wrong, just like you just said, people take that wrong. And after a while, the dog gets used to that. And the dog says, hey, no, you should tell them no more because they're stupid.
Yeah. Dog's looking in the wanted ads for a new home. Like, let me find a new master, someone down the road.
That's what my dog is doing right now. She's going all around. She's going to the windows. She's going to the doors right now, checking everything, smelling.
Okay, so you got some visitors.
Yeah.
All right, so
I was out grilling earlier, so.
Oh, okay. So they're
probably smell it.
Yeah, they're probably at your grill trying to lick on the bars and stuff.
Yeah, I left them a few treats.
Oh, okay. So that's why they're there.
Yeah.
But
that's why they're there.
Yeah.
And I can get up and walk from here and go to that door, turn on the light and everything. You won't see nothing. So they heard me coming,
Yeah. Oh yeah, they know.
If the dog goes out, first thing she's gonna do is she's gonna run under the house and run to the back. She knows where to go,
Yeah. Yeah, I like dogs, but I sure can't have one because even that bark alerts what room they're in and things like that. For me, anyway,
Yeah.
But it is good to have an alert system, even if it's a dog, because dogs, they're better than the alarm systems.
Well, the thing about the dogs is, you need to train them and learn to listen to them.
Yeah.
And dogs can be taught to be quiet.
They can be.
And alert you in different ways. You just have to train them, and you have to learn how to train a dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've had a couple of good ones, and probably the one I got now is about the best one I've ever had. And it's a lot of work, really. You start with them when they're a puppy, but I mean they're going to be a much older dog before they really know what to do.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And this has to happen, and they have to have like hundreds of encounters before they know what you want them to do too.
Yeah, you're correct.
But this one I've got, the one I got now, is just like, I mean, she caught on immediately, like she's already done it, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I know you got a good dog. I've seen that dog treat nothing.
She was telling us there was something there.
Yeah, there was something there. We didn't see it, but whenever that's even kind of funny, huh? I seen that dog tree nothing.
Yeah.
But that dog was trying to climb up that tree.
There was something there.
There was something there.
She's smelling an old cold trail. She could smell an old cold trail. That maybe happened the day before, but.
Or right.
Telling you, there was something there. If there was something there at the time, if there was something really there,
yep.
She would never leave that spot.
Yeah.
She would stay there until you done something.
Yeah, and for a while. She was there for a while
Yeah,
until we kind of moved on. But she kind of looked like, well, okay, if you guys don't see it, then
yeah.
But she's like, I'm gonna hang out with these guys anyway because they got the weapons.
It wasn't all that fresh, I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And,
but I'm glad she hit on that. She let us
yeah,
know.
she let us know.
Yeah, and that was a great observation place for something to be setting up in those trees.
Yeah,
Right there on that trail, could see the house, the road.
yeah. And I've had so many people say, well, oh no, they don't. They're more human. They don't climb trees and everything. Well, yeah, I've got a lot of reports of people saying too that they seen them in the trees. You know,
In that documentary, you're going to see a lot of things like that.
they do climb trees. They use the terrain too.
Yeah, yeah. They're as comfortable in the trees as they are on the ground.
You know that making them more ape like.
Yeah,
Or
yeah. I've seen some hanging sideways, like it's nothing. Like I mean, because they're hanging on, but it's like their body's sideways and their heads, on the outside. And it's like they were just sitting there for almost like 2 hours, like it's no big deal.
yeah, that's like what I was seeing last night. One of the stories that was being told from an old helicopter pilot in Vietnam. And they're flying through the jungles, and he's sitting there looking at one hanging in a tree.
Yeah, yeah,
And they really couldn't tell what it was at first. He said the door gunner just looks and light it up.
yeah.
He told him not to. He says, that's not the enemy. I don't know what that is. Don't shoot it.
I lit it up.
But yeah, I mean, you got pilots that's flown over jungles and wilderness and all before and seen them in the trees. So
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah. A lot of people seen them. It's amazing too with the people out there. There's so many people, and I know. I mean, I've seen them. You've seen them. I know other people have seen them. I know people who's in encounters. I know people who's have encounters right now, and yet there's people on the internet saying, "Oh, could be," and they're saying things about these people who are having encounters right now. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And those hecklers and scoffers, they're just to
A
me.
lot of those people that heckle you and all that, say it ain't true and everything. Those are the
Yep,
ones that never go in the woods and never stay in the woods. I mean, you couldn't even get them to stay the night in the woods.
you're right.
We're going to build a fire and sit there and camp around the fire and lay around the fire and talk all night or whatever, and that's the person, the first time an owl hoots and everything, they go get in the truck and they're hiding in the truck all night.
Yeah, yeah, or a frog. What was that?
Yeah, a frog. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I don't care. I just like to listen to everything going on in the woods at night. I lay by the fire and I like to listen to it.
Yeah, I'm always listening when I'm out there. I mean, I try not to let anything get past me.
I like listening to all the stuff, and then you have some of those, and I've had it before, where you'll have one of those whoops, or you get one of those howls, that's pretty close to you, You got people that's never been in the woods before, it scares the crap out of them.
Oh yeah, and when people have their first encounter, whether it's a juvenile or well, most people will only have that encounter with juvenile, but even a juvenile scares more people than anything, really.
Yeah.
And they don't even know that's the little ones. That's not the big ones.
And chances are that juvenile is probably more scared of them.
Yeah, yeah. Oh well, I've been out here for 2 hours. I'm gonna close, but I'm gonna call every night around this time. Just
all right. Yeah, I mean, yeah, if I don't answer or something like that, it's because I'm probably not getting a signal, or I'm out working, or I'm out in a place where, I'm just not getting a signal. So I stay out all the time. So
okay. So I mean, even if not, send me a text or a message around 7 o'clock. Even if you or whenever you get a chance, just let me know that everything's copacetic that way.
Okay. Yeah, I
And
can do that.
all right, thank you very much because I want to keep up with everybody because I know these areas are active and I just want
Yeah,
to.
I'm gonna try to investigate some more of this stuff. When I get with some of these people and get their story and try to get them on video and all. So
Okay, that sounds like great news because we need as much information from everywhere as possible.
yeah, yeah. Because I got one. I've been trying to get with too. Another hunter. He was deer hunting in the area and actually had an experience while he was on the deer stand. So
Oh yeah,
actually he had there was one he seen clearly, and then he had one that was hunting him.
yeah. Deer stands, deer feeders are ambush spots. Also,
Yeah, and
they know that
so
hunter's coming back to that deer stand sometime, and it's seasonal too, and they have sentries all the time. And once they see that deer hunter come out, they're like, "Oh, they'll be back."
yeah. Yeah, but he was one of those too that got a little scared, and then so he just left. You know.
Well, that's probably very good for especially normal people or who don't know and who don't have the right weapon out there.
Yeah.
It's better they get out of there.
Uh, all right, then I got more stuff to check on. So yeah, I'll message you, and let you know when I'm available.
Okay, and the one family is having their time right now, so we'll give them a little time before we can. Well, you would know when to approach them.
Yeah, yeah, I would talk with them some more. Yeah,
Yeah, because they have an active area, and I'm sure they have questions, and just knowing what they need to know is help.
yeah.
Okay. All right, Tracker. I will contact you tomorrow, and we will get an update or at least a check-in.
Okay, all right.
All right. Thank you, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, all right.
All right. Night.
Uh,
All right. We actually have, even though we're going on 2 hours, we do have at least one more. We're supposed to have at least two or three more calls, but we're doing check-ins. What I'm going to do now is just try to give a friend a quick call, just let them know what we've been discussing, and if possible, just to get a real quick update from one or two other
hello.
people. Hello, Tracker. How you doing?
Hey, how you doing, Jerry?
Good, good. Sorry we're calling a little late. We've actually been on for 2 hours, but we've been talking with people in Alabama and Louisiana about their activity. And well, one of them's a tracker that I don't. You haven't met him yet, but he'll be in soon from Louisiana. That we'll all get together. Hey, but also while I got you on the line, um, we also want to get the group together and all the trackers in this area and some of the people involved in the film or the documentary to get us all together and have a dinner and watch the film together.
Well, that sounds good. A little bit fun.
Okay, good, good.
Look
Because
forward to that.
yeah, and we all really need to sit down and see all this. It's an amazing documentary what we did, and there's so many people involved
Right,
in this that we want everybody to be a part of it, and we're going to get this started for right now. But our goal is to make sure our trackers are have what we need, if you know what I mean.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I missed a lot, but recuperating and recovering from the ordeal this winter, and looking forward to getting back out there.
Yeah, we sure are too. Having you out there with us, the calmness that you have. That's a as far as tracking, those level-headed, calm people are the very best ones out there.
Well, thank you, appreciate it. It takes a lot of nerves when you're out there. It's hard to contain yourself sometimes.
It is, and like I was talking with another tracker, I believe, or to a first encounter or an encounter person about the film, and once you see the places that we went into, and the things that we seen out there, and the things that we're bringing to the people that you know we don't do what normal people do. I mean,
Right.
these are situations that you got to know different ways of moving and what to look for, that the people, the ordinary people, I say ordinary people or normal people, they make so much noise, they're not observant, and it's just they I would say endanger themselves by not knowing to be observant of their surroundings.
Yes, exactly.
And
Exactly.
and I was also wanting to see if there's any new updates, any new activity, or things you've heard or seen in your area, as far as just like an update.
Um, well, like I said, I'm just getting back into the scene, recovering from the pneumonia and everything. I've talked with some other groups, and there's been quite a few attacks here in Oklahoma that's been blamed on the dogs. And I know they found one guy that was just mauled, barely alive, a few days ago. And of course, the local dog pack was blamed for it, but it was just ordinary, labs and shepherds and collies and stuff that was running together, and with pit bulls or very aggressive dogs, but they all were pounded and you know, but blamed for it. But the guy, all of his clothes was tore off, and they said he was mauled all over everywhere but his neck, and he barely survived it. In fact, the guy that found him thought he was dead, but he did survive it. Um, let's see. As far as around my area, my house, had an interesting night last night. Stepped out the door. I could smell them, and a little bit later, I stepped back out again, and I heard a very interesting conversation between a puppy and a goose. And I've always thought, well, a goose and a goose, but these two that were having the conversation, uh, well, that was kind of unusual but there was a conversation because you could hear the puppy back in the field, and then automatically response from the goose over across the street out by the pond or by the park that's close to the pond. But you hear the goose all the time, geese all the time down at the pond. But this was out in the middle of the park. And this went on for about 5 minutes until they quietened down. And then you could hear the dogs further back in the neighborhoods, probably about half a mile or so, start barking. And then everything got quiet. But thought that was very interesting between them two. But there's a lot of fruit trees right now in the area that is producing a lot of different animals eating the fruits and stuff. So it's kind of like a field plot, and they know where they're at. And like the information that you're coming out with and sharing with everybody, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of new stuff that I've noticed.
Mm.
And but as we working together and stuff, I think we're learning
just as well as everybody else.
Mm.
I know I am, and looking forward to seeing the documentary. And I know y'all been all over the country, and so since I've been, laid out,
Mhm.
so from down in South Texas, Oklahoma to Colorado to, I'm not even sure where everybody's been lately, but
Yeah, we every time we get a chance to stop in and see you, if we're in the area, we'll always pull in.
right.
Remember that one time you're like, I hear people outside.
Yeah,
We're like, hey, how you doing?
yeah, exactly. But that was good to see y'all, and I know looking forward to seeing and meeting all the new members
Hmm.
and getting up with everybody that's tuning in, listening, and learning also. Y'all were talking a while ago about the TV entertainment programs, and you're not going to learn anything on entertainment TV. And people are like, well, they're getting so close. Well, they always going to be getting so close.
You're right.
And if they did find one, then the TV show program will be over with.
Yep, you're right.
So they're not going to show it. But if you want to learn from the ones who's out there, and they can help you from getting yourself hurt, like you said, or getting yourself killed.
Yeah, you're correct.
But it is a battle, it's a war going on out there, and you gotta know what's going on. If you go out in the woods, even if you go out in the yard in town,
Hmm.
you never know what may be out there. And there's a lot of stories out there that are experiences that people are telling, about being in town and having things knocking on their houses and jumping off their roofs and stuff like that. And, you know, that's just stuff that normal people ain't gonna make up. They've got to experience that.
We saw the one.
And, average person ain't gonna say, "Well, I heard something run across the top of my roof last night." But really pay attention to what people are telling you, and it could probably save you. But that's about all I can think about right now, Jerry. You got any questions for me? I'll try to answer them real quick.
Oh, no. It was just to get an update, and I really wanted to hear that story about the dog and the goose and how you're observant to know that, because normal people, like we say, normal or ordinary people would not know those are Bigfoots communicating together. They would think that's a dog or a goose just making noise out there.
Right.
We actually have a goose here that alerts where we're at now, that alerts when we come out. And it's only one out there, but we're pinpointing all their sounds, I guess you would say.
Right.
We're seeing who's all out there. We got a whippoorwill. We got now we do have ravens, but there are the other ravens that make the calls out there.
Right.
And we got the birds. There's a couple birds out here. Of course that goose, but like we say, hear a bird, find a bird.
Exactly.
So that's what we're doing.
Look and see.
Yep, you have to find it. Make sure it's a bird.
Look and see it, then stare it down.
Yep, you're right.
Make it leave.
Make it leave. All right, man. That's it's good talking to people who know. You know what I mean?
Right. And like I said, I'm looking forward to getting out there and then getting up there at Tallahassee and seeing everybody and get,
Yeah, we was just talking about Green Hill Monster Road earlier.
Right. Exactly.
So we've got a plan. And when are you like a weekend from now or 2 weekends? So we can. Okay, well, we'll work it out to where
We'll work it
offline,
out. Yeah.
offline.
I'm probably gonna be making a trip to Alabama here in a week or two.
Okay.
So
Oh, okay.
visit family.
That's
And
good. You may.
there's a lot going on down there, so I'm gonna be. I get a lot of people telling me what's happening down there when I go down there and go home. And I listened to your show last night with April, and I know the area she's talking about, and know exactly what she's talking about.
You sure
And,
do.
right, and I was raised just south over down there, and
Okay.
grew up down there.
Well, that may be something for y'all to maybe, if you get a quick break around that crossing town, that maybe y'all could have lunch together or something. Just let
Yeah,
them.
I passed through that way on the way down to Covenant County, and I'd be happy to stop by if she wanted to meet me, and
Okay.
maybe I'd take a look around the place if she wanted or something like that.
Okay, but there is an active hot area, so be careful. You know what I mean? Well,
Right, right,
and but we'll talk with her, and I'm sure she would love to have a visit, or y'all could meet in town or something.
right.
Just to have a friendly conversation and just let them know we know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's gonna be me and my wife doing the
Ye-
traveling most likely. So,
Yeah,
so
we
I
like
want her
her.
to feel comfortable, and
Oh yeah, and we would never, you know, you know what I mean.
yeah, exactly.
Everybody's good people that we know. We will always make sure good people meet good people.
That's right. We don't want no kind of extra anxieties
Exactly,
involved.
exactly. And we all know what's going on, so we just converse. You know what I mean?
Exactly. You're right. And as long as we get it, and the more what I've been noticing too, though, Jerry, is that a lot more people are starting to come around. It was kind of slow at first, but I was looking, your site's growing, and that's a good deal.
it it is the tide's turning. People are actually saying, let's look at what these people are saying and let's see what they're talking about, and because these people have some information that we never had before.
Right. And I know myself, I would, even if somebody didn't agree with our opinion, that we'd still be willing to track for them and check their areas out
Yep.
and kind of show them some of the things that we were saying is true.
Yeah. Yeah, and if we can find people like that if we can get them to purchase a DVD, that would we could talk to them afterwards, because they would come up and say, if you can get your trackers down here, because I got an area that's exactly like you're talking about.
Right.
And
Right.
then we could go pinpoint them for them and say, yeah, you got them. Now it's time to get your neighbors together and have them decide on what they really want to do, because this is about their children, everybody's.
Right. And it's not about profit, it's about
No.
supporting. It's
Yeah.
about supporting
And
the
educating.
work and the education, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's completely understandable.
Yeah. And it's everything in this is necessary for people to know.
Hmm. Exactly. But all right. Well, I'm gonna get off here and call it. Just let me know if I can help in any way.
Okay, and like on these new nightly things, if there's uh no like brand new activity or something, I think we're going to kind of do it like we'll call in or call you and say activity or no activity, and you've had no activity recent, we just want to know activity or no activity.
Exactly.
And
Okay.
so we know the active areas and things that are going on.
Right. If I hear anything, that's what I'll do. I'll talk in new activity, and we'll just go from there.
Okay. And we got other trackers. I'm going to be doing this also in the first-hand experience, and the people that we interview, um, they're also going to be including this because we want to keep up with everybody in all of the areas.
Yeah. Exactly.
So we're building a big family here.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing that people have somebody to call in different areas, especially.
Exactly. This builds us stronger.
Right.
Oh, okay.
It's a lot easier if somebody is in Colorado and they having some issues to call somebody in Colorado, and then
Yeah, Oklahoma or
so,
Louisiana,
right.
huh? Yeah, you're right.
Not that we would mind going. We would be happy to.
Oh yeah, we would. We would. I mean, we're always ready to go, and people do call, but it's the calls that we get, they're kind of like, "Are you guys for real?" That kind of thing.
Hmm.
And we're just
Right.
like, just tell us where you're at because we know what's going on. We just need to get there.
Right. And I have met up with just come to thought with uh another group that is I'm going to be meeting with here pretty soon that uh is researching some areas that I'm familiar with. So we're going to get together and collaborate. So I can hopefully give an update on that pretty soon.
Oh, great! That's great news. Every new areas that are tracked, new information. That's what we need.
Right. There's a lot of this information. I just learned something that uh, I was around when I was younger and everything had no clue was taking place, and I just learned it yesterday. And the area where I went to school and everything, and so there's always going to be something. There's always history of different reports and stuff in areas that we didn't even know.
Yeah, we actually talked to a person today who mentioned that same thing that they can trace it all the way back to their childhood now that they know.
Hmm. Exactly.
Every one of us can.
Right.
Okay, so I'm gonna give Green Hill Monster Road a call and see how things are there, and I'll check in with them, and then we'll check in with you again tomorrow, Malcolm.
Okay. All right, Gary.
All right,
Y'all
thanks.
have a good evening.
Yeah, be safe out there.
All right, y'all too.
All right, night. Okay, this was another tracker friend that we're checking up on. They've got activity. They're going to be conversing with another group to form another, I would say, an expedition in an area to locate. Um, as far as the people, I don't know exactly who our tracker friend is going to be working with, but I do know that our tracker friend is experienced and does know what he's doing, and we're always a call away. So let me try to get one more friend on so they can give us a little update. And if they can, but if not, we'll have them tomorrow. But let me just try to give them a call real fast. And okay, so we're not going to try to hold up anymore tonight. Um, Now, we will be checking in with all of our friends. And if you are a person who needs answers or and would like to come on, just shoot a email to capital, the first letters capital, Jerry Williams 1927 at outlook.com. You can also contact me there. Um, We can schedule you for a show, and we can answer those questions that you need and help you deter if needed. But we can always help you. So we're gonna close for tonight. Tomorrow night we do have another firsthand active area person who will be with us to explain on what's happening in their areas. We will listen, we will evaluate, and we will help them with their situations and things to look for and things that you may need to look for also. So um, join us again tomorrow night. Also, I want to also have the video up real fast. Uh, that if you hadn't purchased the DVD yet, the description is in the comments of where you can use the PayPal and contact us that way. Here's a short video clip. It's only about 10 seconds or something, but it does have information also. Okay, so tomorrow night there is another guest that is coming on. Now, this guest tomorrow night, you may, if I was you, I would listen in. This has to do with activity happening right now in their areas. It's an isolated family, from what we understand. I don't have all the details, but we will have those tomorrow. So join us tomorrow. All these broadcasts, all these conversations are very, very important. You need to listen to them over and over if possible. We do teach techniques, things to look for. You will be amazed at the techniques if you use them, and it will help you protect yourself and your family. So, everyone, have a great night. Be safe out there. Listen, be aware of your surroundings. Remember, tomorrow night, a very special guest that's coming on again. We have a list already, a lineup of people who have encounters, who need answers. You may learn what your question is here. If we don't have that question, we can't answer it for you. You may want to shoot a comment on a question. But if that's a question that is answered in the DVD, I would recommend that you do buy this DVD, The Bigfoot Documentary. It is titled Oklahoma Bigfoot Predator Watch, Antlers in parentheses, and Surrounding Areas. It is a film of this area, but this is not the area that these things are happening only. And like if you heard the call before, we have tracked in many locations, many states, and we have located the Bigfoots in each area. That's what we do. We locate for you. We're not hunting for you. We will locate. We will tell you exactly where they are, how many are in your area, and if the situation is dire, which most are, or if you are clear for right now. So everyone, please come back tomorrow. Share this video. Get it to people who need to listen to what trackers are talking about, what firsthand people are talking about, what people need answers to. You will find them here. Tune in. Come back tomorrow, 7 p.m. tomorrow night. We have another great show. Thank you and have a great night.